I guess it's convenient to have a special video, 2 hours long as I like to do it, uh, focused on personalities. But the reason why we can focus on personalities for 2 hours is, first of all, I know a lot about it. And also we're gonna look into this thing. It says there's 16 personalities. I use 8. And if you know math, 8 times 2 is 16. Why is that? Why does that matter? Well, first of all, you can like divide everything into like good and evil or whatever, right? And technically that would be a switch, or a choice. In fact, I have figured that personalities are pretty much like switches. Like you literally are born this way. Born a certain personality. It's pretty crazy. Alright? That's already a crazy thing to claim, yet I see time and time again, even myself included, I can't move out from one personality to the other. I can maybe fake it, I can maybe do anything I want, but I'm stuck like being a thinker. I'm stuck doing the same thing over and over again, technically. It feels like. Doesn't mean you cannot improve, doesn't mean you cannot be a better person. It's just you find yourself in a specific type of pattern of behavior. So, unfortunately, good and evil, not the first switch that I use, necessarily, maybe. Let's see what I said in the comments, because this is a request for this person to, he wanted me to look into this thing, and, we talked about switches, so, if I just bring back the older conversation, I explain which ones I feel are important. So there's introvert versus extrovert, emotional versus materialistic, passive versus active. Interesting. Now, I use 3 switches. Alright? I divide things into 8 categories, basically. So the way it would look like, if you put it all together, divide, divide, and divide again. Everything in half. But usually I like just number 4. Alright? The fantastical number 4. Why do I like it so much? Why do I like these 2 divisions? Why do I like cross so much? And I also split it into colors. But the way I discovered it is I'm like, well, there's like 4 elements, right? And they all happen to counter each other, like rock, paper, scissors. Unfortunately, I still haven't found internet to decide on how this rock, paper, scissors game actually works. And I'm surprised, and I'm very annoyed by that at the same time. Like, why wouldn't you know? And so the last color is purple. Funny enough. Not red. Red is in the middle. Red is the above all color, transcendent, so to speak, for obvious reasons. So yeah. Ability to be born a certain way and connect with other people. Be born a man, connect with women. That is an ability you need to learn in this world, unfortunately. You're not a wholesome person. As much as you want to be, you're not a fucking wholesome person. Even if you live in shadows and you suck in a lot of energy and have a lot of power, claiming that you want to be alone forever is a stupid fucking behavior. Alright? You have to be attracted and attract other things. But that's just a strategy. I'm learning still. Alright? This is very intense process for me. I'm still right now, this year, this 6 months, I've been growing so intensely, I don't even know, bro. I don't even know the person 6 months ago anymore. That's how crazy it is. It's getting crazy. Alright, and the more people I get to know, the more I bump into things, I just gonna change every so slightly. But this 4-element thing has been relevant for a long time now. And again, I split this thing into 8. It's splittable. I found it to work. Funny enough. I found 8 girls. I'm gonna give you guys 8 girls instead of 4. Alright? But naturally, we're gonna pick, let's say, clockwise. Because that's usually the order. We're gonna pick clockwise introvert and extrovert. So we started with introvert and extrovert, you know, or let's do this, you know. It's like 1, 2, 1, 2. And where are those 8 girls, and can they teach us anything? Well, does it really matter? Because I'm not gonna put in that much work. But I will say the girls, obviously. You have Ari here as an introvert. As an extrovert, you have extrovert green, Selena. Extrovert yellow, Taylor. And then introvert, Jewel. Introvert purple. Also, this is water. This is wind, earth, and fire. Just so you know. In fact, fire, for some reason, demands this, which is very funny. So it's actually visible. Every other color seems to be fine. Anyways. Yeah, yellow too bright. Very interesting. Then there's other 4 girls. In fact, Selena has the team called Gold 4 now. It used to be called Bull 4, because bullshit series is my favorite thing to do. But we're kind of looking for gold more than bullshit. You know, we have to fix our priorities. And now we're gonna summon them. So that's that. Now, where do they fit? In fact, they fit in the places which I haven't checked yet. Alright? We check this thing, this thing, this thing, and that thing. Alright? Sabrina goes here. The wind. And the people know these types as like psychopaths or vampires. And honestly, I'm a terrible person, and I haven't looked into the positive side of things just yet. Alright? Maybe we're gonna learn something looking at the thing. You know, maybe it's gonna make us look into something more positive or specialized. I've never done this. Alright, there's a lot of research I could do on this, and it's a pretty huge step forward to even look into other people's notes, you know, and compare. For me, this way cooler than whatever this shit is. Even if it's animated, I don't care, bro. This looks ugly, by the way. It's fucking ugly. Vector graphics, do you need that? Is that necessary? Vector graphics and animated, so weird. So that's where Sabrina goes. Yeah, Selena basically fills in the rest of the circle of personalities. Isn't that crazy? Victoria happened to have worked with Ariana and happens to fall in the same place. Again, people have put one clip of them, and they say they have some kind of broken relationship. You know, they don't like each other. They just different. One is introvert and one is extrovert. They're just different. The other girls didn't even have the dynamic of being different and actually kind of vibing, but saying completely opposite things, right? I think everyone is singing or something. Is that what Victoria said? I don't know what Ari said though. Fuck that shit. We're gonna probably see that clip 20 million times, by the way. So that's that. That's a very interesting thing. There is one aspect, very interesting aspect. All right, and two different aspects. Extrovert means has a flavor of purple, by the way. Introvert means has a flavor of fire. However, that changes here. Why? Why is that the case? Well, because rock, paper, scissors, alright? Water gets beaten by wind. That's it. So the same way goes here. Fire beats earth, but gets beaten by water. And so you can see another pattern here. Fantastic, right? But I did it a little bit preemptively. Where does Ava go? Narcissism, fire. And Chrissy is actually a sister personality. Yeah, I'm very close to Chrissy. So, very fascinated about this stuff. Because the dynamics are crazy, man. I still can't wrap my head around it. The problem is, it just works. Alright? I just came up with this, and it just started working flawlessly. Like, I don't have to change anything. I don't know how that makes any sense, but it works. I just added two things together, or turned this rock, paper, scissors game off elements into the idea that this is how personalities work, and somehow it does. But then you have to look at into reality, and it's like water matters a lot, fire matters a lot, as heat, in form of heat. Because everything evaporates, basically. Everything is brittle and falls apart over time. That's kind of fire, everywhere. Earth is definitely everywhere. Provides us with oxygen, wind, which is also everywhere. Everywhere you go, there's those elements that we need to actually learn about. And if we're not introduced into elements through personalities, I don't know what the fuck you're doing, basically. Are you stupid? So, yeah, there's a huge reason to explore this. This will open you up to a lot of possibilities and finding, sister personalities, threats. You can find threats. You can find, food for thought, for emotions. I don't know. And you can find very, very good friends, very good companions, or even a marriage material. That's what Ari is to me. Why? Because if you take this sample, very interesting. All right, I thought about it so much. You take this sample. Actually, let's just take this color, red, right? Take this sample. Take this sample. And you can see we have all the elements. And these are just two people. We combine two people and we have all the elements. And on top of that, we're not harming each other. Our main elements not harming each other, and our subtype elements are not harming each other. So it's a perfect union, to be honest. And that's why I like it so much, I would imagine. It is so painful, because, like, I don't... The more I think about reality, the more it just slips away and just wants to be its own thing. But it's like, yes, you're right. Reality says to me, you're right. Because why? How else would we do it? You know? Welcome to the Matrix. There's no other way of doing things. Because this is the most fun. Or whatever. That's what happens. Like, you suck in the experience, and you're like, oh, let's make GTA 5 a realistic game on the computer screen, because that's what people want. People don't want full-on fantasy worlds that they don't understand. They just want realism. So you're literally, in your brain, just recreating how reality works all the time. And you can shift it a little bit. You can get a superpower, and then you have superhero movies, and all of a sudden you just reinventing elements. You know, you learn reality, then recreate elements of different things. You know, fantasy, superhero movies. I don't know, horror. I don't know. Or just porn. I don't know, man. I've been using elements a lot more than you think. If you just type in one emoji, and yes, you have to type in an emoji. Alright, so we need birthday cake into my Discord. You can see I'm reusing colors over and over and over and over again, making layers of cake. And it works. I always ask myself, how would a concept work in this category, in different elements, within different personalities, technically? I don't ask all 8 personalities, I just need 4. Because those are, like, very extreme cases. You need to know, basically. And if you read through these, you will get an idea how personalities work. Meaning that I don't even have to explain it. It's right here. Just read it, get the vibe, understand how I came up with a conclusion, and maybe you can put it together yourself. Fantastic. Now, is that it? Did we do the thing? Did we talk about everything? Again, just elements, they have different personalities. Why introvert and extrovert split? What does that mean? Right? Introvert is more like self-feeding, and extrovert is self-consuming. So you're always hungry and looking around, extroverting your comfort zone, basically. You're comfortable looking around and interacting with things in real life, while introverts want to just build things in their own little, bubble. That's how it works. Is there a reason for you to switch your personality, even for a little bit? Yes, if you're making friends, if you want to test out your friendship, if it's just in your heart, you can switch your personality a little bit and try a new thing, basically, of what other person would do and would recommend you to do. That's what I do. I could talk to myself now. Yes, I have learned a lot, and it pisses me off that I have to be completely alone. I understand. I'm an introvert. I understand. Oh, I also live in shadows. And that sucks. But I at least am learning. And while I'm learning, I cannot really be damaged by anything. Because I keep getting more and more powerful from different sources. why should I be upset, right? I'm getting closer and closer to a better future for myself. It all comes down to growth if you're young. So that's cool. Oh, there's a train. It is kind of fascinating that it's an M inverted, the F missing a leg from the E is kind of funny. But I don't I don't really see. I mean, I try to look into patterns, overly extend myself into patterns, but they have to be meaningful, alright? There's another person in my comments who just spits out weird things, and I'm like, what? Does that matter? Can you tell a story about it? Because that would be a lot better, you know? And now that I'm getting even better and better at telling stories because now I associate with a lot of people and I call myself YouTube CEO and it seems to be working just like that. Because no one is gonna, deny that. There's nobody there. I'm floating in outer space because I live in shadows. And if you want to try and stop that, congratulations. It's not that difficult. But if you have a lot of relationships, you can only give me so much that I need. That's the problem. You can't give me most of what I need because that requires a lot of attention and a lot of work, common work as well. I want to highlight another comment because it pisses me off. It's one of the newer ones. The idea is, oh, I made a video about Smosh and the girls being kind of the main thing of Smosh right now and taking over, basically. And somehow that's misogyny. Who knows what the fuck this guy means? Or whoever this is, right? And essentially, it's just such a mind fuckery. Just being tossed around everywhere, left and right, bouncing around. Especially from Americans. I fucking hate it, man. American can go bankrupt anytime now. Anytime. I'll just keep on pressing that button. Bankruptcy for Americans. Because I know all they do is just move the money around and pretend most of them that they're rich because they found that perfect job that they can do forever. But the reality is they're kind of assholes that have zero principles. All right, they're just doing a lot of random things in real world, and they can show it to the rest of the world. And they don't really have restraints for what they're willing to do. They only restrain themselves so other people could do the opposite. It's like if I'm on the right, I have to follow this behavior, basically. If you belong to a certain side or a certain group, you have to do a certain behavior. And it's all just copycat bullshit. Alright, America, boys. And if you're American, you belong here. Congratulations. And your Lord and Savior is Ariana, to be honest. So bow down and learn how she operates. I mean, the greatest copycat of all time. I mean, why not learn from that? But yeah, there's a lot to learn. Why did I say America has a personality? Exactly. That's how it works. Even the entire world is split into four. It's unbelievable, right? You thought it was just some avatar thing, where it's like, oh no, this can't possibly be true that there is a land of fire taking over or whatever. Yes, there is a land of fire. It's called Russia and India combined. Cool, right? Land of wind is just China and other Asian countries. Or other narrow-eyed creatures, whatever. And, There's the land of Earth, which is obviously Europe because it starts with E, am I right? They know what's up. In fact, people gather knowledge, but eventually they realize they will die soon, so they have to experience life at the same time. Right now, I'm gathering knowledge, so you guys ventured in the right place. You're gonna get some knowledge, but this knowledge is gonna get lost again, like it always does. I feel like I came up with this myself, but I know I'm just like recreating knowledge that someone else somewhere figured out. It's just often enough either people hide it or they don't understand it and they twist it around, and it's fucked up basically in the end. But it's never gonna be the same exact thing, especially when I'm not copying and pasting things. But when you using intuition, everything just falls into place the same way. So you can say this is the same thing, right? It's just 4 switches instead of 3. Meaning that this whole system is split into more sections. But the question is, why? Why would you do that? And can we find the answer to that? That is the whole premise of the video. Congratulations. We went through the introduction phase. Alright? Does that have any value whatsoever? Is what we're gonna try and figure out. So the first thing I'll do is explain the switches. And there's another train for some reason. Fantastic. Why is it women on? What? Female? And then wife? It's all this fucking girly shit. I hate it, man. You. Alright. That's cool. Alright, the switches. We have materialistic people and emotional people. People who think and feel. Emotional. You know. Because feelings and emotions maybe not the same thing, now that we put it this way. Because you can generate feelings through thoughts, or you can generate feelings through... you can generate emotions through thoughts, or you can generate emotions through feelings. And senses and all that stuff, right? Eating food or whatever. So that's cool. And then you can be materialistic in 2 ways. What is that? By the way, I'm just exploring it as a new concept almost. Because I've never said it out loud. But these are narcissists, alright? So they're extremely materialistic where they have to like show things. Right? Well, these are more power-oriented people. So they're gonna try and build things and create things like skyscrapers or statues, that sort of stuff. So, while these people gonna buy a color of Bugatti, these people might, actually build a real business or relationships or have a bunch of bitches, basically. I don't know. Because when you have it, you can't really hide it, can you? It's kind of a weird thing. The narcissists want to do is hide all these things. All the personal relationships, right? While these people are actually more open. But that's materialistic thing of just like trying to own things. And sometimes it happens to be people as well. These people own businesses. And I'm not exactly sure. This is the government and the businesses, basically. What does the government own? They don't really operate businesses. They operate kind of weird jobs. So they just kind of own people in different way. But you can see materialistic means money oriented, even though money is literally here, right? Another on. So funny. Maybe it's here because it generates actual money. We're the workers here. They're the ones who want money, but in order to get money, they have to extract it from the actual things. Because fire and wind, how are they supposed to generate money? They're not. They're not actually solid resources that can create things. They're more like destructive forces. So actually, a pretty good way to look at it is either, again, materialistic versus emotional. How the fuck do I... How do I do emotional, dude? 69? How about 7? 7 seems cool. Because 7 is just... It's like a safe number. Safest number. For some reason. I'm not gonna try and explain why. Also, it's kind of like a little trick, isn't it? 7 is like even number. Just like 11 is even. But actually, it's a prime number instead. Is that what makes it even? I don't know. I don't know why it has that. But literally every little thing, someone made that up for some reason, potentially. Or English is just full of shit. We'll never know. Unless we actually take care of every little thing. And first of all, figure out how we can actually change it efficiently. You know, now that we have established internet language, we might want to change it, improve it, instead of making fun of it, as we like to do. So that's a cool... It's 7-Eleven again. Fantastic. I don't want to start tripping, because that would be weird. Or maybe it's so totally okay. Tripping, where you, like, find patterns and they're like, why is that there? Do people care about this because they already found these patterns? What is going on? Or do patterns just kind of float around like that? It pisses me off, man. Anyways. Where do we go from here? We need another switch. We need up and down from here, right? Instead of left and right. And this is not exactly left and right the way you think it is. If we're looking for left and right dynamic, we have to, again, bring back the circle inside a circle. The right wing is inside the circle. They care about principles a little bit more. They care about, well, freedom. But you only get freedom if you learn how to treat other people properly. So who are these people, right? It might be useful. Definitely thinkers applicable here. While emotional people, not so much. They have to go to left wing. So we can already split these two apart. Funny enough. And can we do the same thing here? Wind, power. It's more of a government-oriented thing. And perhaps right wing are just solely oriented on supporting businesses and so on. That's freedom. If you can build a business easily, that is freedom. So technically, we have freedom versus let's do Q. Because that is like a 0 meaning free and Q meaning quit. And freedom versus what is it? What do you get? Well, there is a very peculiar switch, which is, well, just happens to be love. But because we already use a heart, I'll do an upside down heart, which is this. Alright, spades. The upside down heart, my favorite. Anyways, so we have 2 switches now. We have split successfully everything into 4 elements yet again. Where do we go from here? We need another one that splits things into introverts and extroverts. But this one is already kind of figured out. It's I and X, right? People focus on themselves, I, and people focus on completing tasks in the real world, which is X. You know, you mark the spot, you go there, do the thing, and you're good for the day, basically. So that's pretty cool. But you actually have to go outside and challenge yourself. That's what extroverts tend to do. And I would love to learn from those other people if they would be around. They're not on the internet, clearly, but I don't know why. Internet is still a place where you can interact. I'm not gonna interact in a voice chat, unfortunately. And is that too much to ask? Isn't chatting good enough? Like, people go to each other's DMs, they're not complaining of like, oh, this is an overly introvert or extrovert thing to do. And yet, chirpy chirps. I don't know. Of course I would go outside and talk to people if there wasn't risk involved. Alright? As an introvert, I have built things. Alright? I'm not an empty shell of a human being who has built muscles to defend myself as an extrovert. No, I have a lot of things to lose. And I'm a weak person, because I focused on completely different things. This is why you want to make friends. And for me, it's very difficult. So I don't know how you guys solve this problem. I don't know how much money it requires to solve it. Very expensive to have friends, I believe. I don't know. I just don't understand. The only thing I understand is, like, if you buy someone's time, you can actually very likely make friends that way. You can actually convince them, basically, to spend more and more time for cheaper. Funny enough, right? Funny enough. Except you can't build businesses like that. This, government, volunteering, asking people to volunteer is highest level. This is technically how you start. Maybe there's something in the middle, right, that you can focus on. But then we're talking about materialistic things and owning people. Ugh. No, that's not good. Anyways. So, I mean, this is very defined switch. Introvert and extrovert, I already explained what it means. Everyone knows, technically. I don't have to go too deep. I happen to be an introvert. And there is no ambivert, unfortunately. You're just gonna get punched in the face if you say that. You can't actually break the switch and choose the middle ground somewhere. I wish you could. Tell me how you do that. Tell me. Are you a magician or something? Because that is pretty fucking crazy. If you figured it out somehow. A magical way to put a switch into either flickering position, meaning you can switch the switch anytime you want. But it's just like growing a third arm. You know, you can't really do that as a human being. You're not allowed to, almost, by the reality itself. But you can use other people's arms to do things. So if you need a third arm, other people can give you that. You know, you can rent an arm, basically. These days, it's pretty fucking easy, right? So that is a very fascinating thing when you think about it. You can learn so much from reality, and I'm like, wow. just by making this video, I am fascinated by all the things available to learn. So that's it. The real question is why the fuck did they need a fourth switch? I know it's a very fascinating number 4, alright? Number 4 is super cool. But what am I supposed to describe with number 4? Switch. Why am I supposed to split an introvert into other categories of what exactly? Good and evil? Is that where we're going? It's the only one I have left, and I don't need one, alright? You can technically identify a good person and an evil person. Yes. But that's not a switch. That is your personal freedom. Funny enough. Alright? The only thing you cannot switch is whether you're in the shadows, you a normie, or you are a very popular person. This is a 3 type switch. There's 3 choices, basically. But and you're technically born with 1 out of 3. So you can see there's 24 personalities in my list. Except if you're born in either, it doesn't actually like define your personality any better. Like, I don't need that. I don't need the 4th switch. So can this convince me that I do in fact need a 4th switch? Because that would be revolutionary. Alright. Little switchy thing that would split everything into 16. Oh yeah. But usually what happens is I'm the one breaking their stupid, creations because I figured out way better version of that, So let's see who wins, I declare war because our notes don't match very well, and I don't like that, and I'm not going to concede. So hopefully I just strictly win, and there's no draws in this matchup, alright? The first thing is just to strictly review this whole thing. So, is that the switches? Intuitive thinking, feeling, observant judging. What does the E stand for? Okay. So I can't really understand from just by looking at this. I need something to read, unfortunately. There's more to it. There's an A and T types. What? What the fuck is... Why do you need that one? Why do you need to split that into more? This is fucking annoying. I'm not gonna lie. Okay. Where would I put these things, alright? Architect, logician, commander, debater. This seems... I mean, I love logic a lot, so I would put it in the Earth category. This isn't a purple background, by the way. I don't like that. Logician. If it's like scientific thing, commander, debater, it does seem to actually align with purple as well. And logician maybe is more of a magician, where it provokes you to think more logically. It doesn't actually think logically itself. It just provokes people to do that, feeds into the Earth personalities, chemistry, so to speak. That's a pretty cool thing. Logician, we can translate into a person that connects other people, that makes you connect, right? Find friends for you specifically, for your chemistry. What are you looking for? How to solve. That's a really fucking cool thing. Now I'm impressed. Now finally, instead of talking about wind people as psychopaths, they're actually useful for something. I know wind people are very friendly, so they make a lot of friends, so to speak. Because they don't really have anything in their own heads, so they care about what other people have to say. That sort of behavior. Does this align with Earth? Diplomats. Fuck that shit, bro. Mediator. See, that's the flip. Mediator, But technically, mediator now means translator. And I can do that. Earth personalities can do that. Yeah. Protagonist, kind of. Advocate. Yeah, defender. Makes sense. Campaigner. What? Who can always find a reason to... What the fuck is this shit? Fine. Like inspiring person or something? I don't know. I don't know what campaigner stands for. Leaders. Yeah, sure. That does seem like it aligns with Earth. So far, so good. 2 out of 4. The only thing that they can fail is the last switch. Are they gonna fail? Are they gonna switch water and fire in together? Defender? Yeah, sure. I don't know these words. Logistics, man. I don't know. I can't understand any of this shit. Practical. Maybe? Yeah. Protectors, yeah. But this is the defender. Advocate is the defender. Isn't it? Inspiring? Technically, what advocate should do is inspire a person to talk about themselves, to tell their story. Right now, the way lawyers or advocates work, if that's what we're talking about, if that, for me, it's synonymous because of my language. But yeah, lawyers, they just take your voice. They just speak for you, when as if that's how it's supposed to work. You're supposed to just talk your mind. You're supposed to be free. And right now, the system doesn't work that way. In fact, if you talk, you'll go into jail, back into jail, because you resisted your something, your controllers or whatever. You offended people by talking. Like the real offense is the silencing that's happening right now. The the world flipped upside down. That is the real offense right now, to me. And everyone who plays into those roles, I don't know, man. Extermination, because I have no mercy for these people. Silencers? Are you fucking kidding me? You raise your hand and you're like, I'm for silence, and you better be shot in the face as soon as possible, because I don't know what that fucking means. Why we need silence? What the fuck is that gonna do? Is that very useful for people? You need silence only when there's someone speaking that you want to hear. Otherwise, fuck off. Or you want to sleep. 2 exceptions. Alright? You want to focus on something else or sleep entirely. Just rest. Then that's it. On your own thoughts, you can focus or whatever. But, hearing people out, Forcing silence onto the world is kind of fucking stupid. And right now it's probably causing the apocalypse, because that's the one thing that I'm offended about the most. Everyone wants to be silent, everyone wants to fucking... It's fine. I understand why. Silence works. In a special little place called Influence Market, alright? You have too many subscriptions, so people have to be a little bit more quiet than usual and not post shit, you know. They have to post the best of themselves, because that's the only thing you want to see, honestly. You don't want to see crap. Unless you do. You never know. The influence market is expanding, and I will forcefully expand it. Especially how much I hate silence right now. The way it works. It's like, it keeps on like shrinking people down, even though I already like missing most of the pieces. Maybe even a lot of channels I subscribe to just kind of don't actually produce content anymore. And it pisses me off. It's like, do I need to subscribe to 100 more channels every year to be able to keep up with people who disappear or just lose my respect, you know? But that's that. Then Explorers, yeah, makes sense. Explorers, okay. Adventure, Entrepreneur, yeah. Entertainer, maybe. Smosh is founded by two entertainers, I guess, but, you know, narcissistic people. I can't say it's 100%, because that would be evil, right? And they're probably not evil, but eventually they get exhausted and they turn into evil because they don't have resources to be good. In order to be good, you literally have to contribute to society, you know? And the moment you stop, well, better fucking disappear. Because we don't want to fucking see you exhausted trying your best, you know? It's like trying to win a race when you're half asleep. Like, are you even prepared? Who's torturing you? Just go to sleep. Go fucking rest. You don't have to exhaust yourself and still work full time. You know, like, what the fuck does that mean? That's pretty evil. And a lot of people, it, like, you can call it burnout, but a lot of people just zombify themselves into forcing themselves to work overly much, and they don't even realize how fucking exhausted they are. I am exhausted just fucking living in my tiny room. I get exhausted all the time. How? Pretty intense workout, man. Just talking into a microphone somehow. And my mind is racing all the time. Somehow that exhausts me, I don't know. If I go outside half a kilometer, walk around, even more exhaustion. I don't know how people fucking live and work in harsh environments, man. When I did that, like, that's a burnout. That's a quick burnout, bro. But I was able to do it, you know. Without health problems, I don't know. You never know. That's the fun part of getting zombified. You never know unless you trust your feelings, for once. And you taste a little bit of freedom by saying no to things. It's a very dangerous path that people are going sometimes. But now people are being forced to, because if you don't pay your bills, man, you're gonna be homeless and stuff. Fantastic. I mean, it's so fucking scary. Now, again, I don't know what the fuck this means. Also, they put 2 girls, 2 guys. So maybe that's the split between men and women? Is that what we're looking for? It makes some sense. And it would, you know, solidify the idea that you can't, unfortunately, you just can't break your personality the same way you cannot break your gender and flip the switch whenever you fucking want. And you don't have to. The funny thing is, You don't have to. Why do you need that? You will never be able to find the reason to flip the switch as your superpower. Because the only thing you need is just other people. Unless you're completely alone in the universe and no one is like you anymore, maybe then you will learn all those superpowers and you will start here, technically. But right now, when you're surrounded by people, I'm sorry, bro. You don't need to flip switches, my friend. You don't need to turn into a woman all of a sudden. You just be who you are, born with, because there's other things to do. Alright? But as you can tell, the Rainbow Nazi fucking assholes, they're just bored. They have no purpose. They have no things to do. They're trying to flip the switches that are like very difficult to flip, and they're calling it progress of some kind. So, unfortunately, I'm disappointed. That's where America is going. That's why America has to go bankrupt, because they're getting bored. I don't appreciate people getting bored. Alright? There's plenty of things to do, unfortunately. So better fucking find those things. And also it makes politics look like a black hole of boring things. Or non-virtuous things. Technically it's not boring because it's very extreme. But it's like politics is the edgiest thing you could do. Politics is the end game. And if you find yourself in politics, you lose. You technically just lose. It's completely pointless. So you have to try and not think in political ways whatsoever. You have to think about feelings and materialistic, selfishness. That's fine. But please, don't do politics. Just like you shouldn't do drugs, you shouldn't do politics. It's kind of a funny thing. We have to put it as a candy for people. And it also will make you think a lot differently, potentially. And eventually I will have to talk about politics as bullshit, because now it has to go on a list as well. Because it raises a lot of questions, doesn't it? How bullshit is the politics? Well, I don't actually answer that. It's just when bullshit appears, I just talk about it. And if bullshit appears again, I go to the next level. So, that is what indicates how big of a bullshit something is. Materialism, by the way, I wanted to do that one, apparently. Even though I literally just made it into a switch, so it's impossible. Being materialistic is fine because you have to, again, provide to people a good service, and you will get money for it. You have to provide good power, or safety, or some kind of, again, service as a government. You'll get paid for it with, not money, because you kind of can loot people whenever you want with taxes. It's fucking hilarious at this point. But with self-esteem of people, with people liking you, people actually going to vote and putting effort into this political nonsense that you care about, whatever government cares about these days. So, yeah, you have these big things. Also, the big thing is socialism and communism. Alright? So, unfortunately, you will have to learn that as well. That socialism means something completely different. It just represents society. Alright? And you have communism. That represents community. For obvious reasons. Don't fucking twist the nipples, my friends. And then you have businesses, alright? And government. Governism. You can see capitalism into governism. There you go. My favorite letter, G. Wow, isn't that cool? So, Yet people twist the nipples and say socialism and communism either doesn't work or it's bad somehow. And what the fuck are you talking about? There's when definitions exist, you try to find the best definition that fits, actually, and you don't have to look far. It's in the word. Just figure out what society and community means and work from there, because those things actually exist. And someone just slapped an ism to that. So why did they do that? That's how I work through those things. Like, why do you have to work backwards? You're not supposed to work backwards. You know, you're not supposed to turn paper into a tree. Why do you need a tree that way? You just plant a fucking tree, and you're gonna get one eventually. You know, like, why people are working backwards? Like, then you think, like, is everyone counterproductive? Is everyone doing the same fucking shit? Backwards type of thinking. Is this where we are with this one as well? We work backwards, you know, we just categorized people into minimum amount of categories, which happens to be 16. You know, is that what we did? Because technically, again, women and men do different jobs, right? They don't really have different personalities, but they do different jobs because they have different bodies. Different sets of skills, technically. And yeah, I mean, we could do the women and men switch, right? So that is my last proposal, obviously. It's my last proposal. We could do that. Why not? It's just very basic, alright? Now, it's a weird one, because it gets interpreted different ways. Some people think it's a fucking spear. You know, and this is a cup. But when you put this circle, then it flips upside down. What the fuck? So how do you look into this? Alright? How do you look into this? Clearly doesn't work at all. Neither of these work. But what does work is sun and moon, doesn't it? Sun and moon. You have this. Alright. You have something that repels energy and something that consumes energy. Oh, you don't think moon consumes energy? Alright. Well, maybe it's not the moon, you know. But the unpredictability of the moon makes it very interesting, I would say. This is where you start thinking about the moon and the sun. So, attract and repel. Men and women. Like that. You can do that switch, but it's too obvious. This switch, unfortunately, is too obvious. If you see a woman, you know who's a woman. Right now, maybe Americans are doing the thing where they're trying to hide of who is woman or who's man. Maybe we made it too obvious for people. Is that a bad thing? I don't know. So I can sort of understand, like, maybe that's where they're going. I'm not sure what the result of that. Why do we need to do that? Again, we're born with different bodies. I don't know if it's a social construct, because, you know, programming does a lot of things too. But our bodies, again, very different. So I don't know how much you can change. But you have to be, like, honorable with the changes and not insult a lot of people and become politically divisive. Because that, right now, that's what it is. So this men versus women mashup nonsense on one side and another one is like total division. I don't know, man. Political shit, you can pull pull something out of it, some kind of idea, but the moment you just start debating, you lose. You just lose time. You don't need to do that. You don't need to convince anyone of anything, because that is the stupidest work you can do. And especially when people catch you that you feel that you're convincing them, but you're not actually convincing them, they can start manipulating you, which is tremendously exhausting of your resources, all right? Because you think your friend and you are convincing them of things, but they just want to keep you around or whatever nefarious reasons they have to, keep you happy. And it's very easy to keep people happy when you picked a side, It's very easy. Oh, you're on our side, and you're happy because we're gonna attack these enemies over there, It's fucking weird. Life is weird. But that's, yeah. We're gonna stay away from politics. I'm just saying there's men and women, guys. Crazy, right? People who repel and people who attract, which is so obvious. But we have been born this way, and it's a very difficult thing to untwist the twister, and we cannot do this with ourselves. We can do this for future generations if we feel like we want to. But most of the time it's going to be a waste of time. See, like this is weird. This is why you need to gather knowledge to be able to do these things in the first place in the moral way without anyone disagreeing with you successfully. And you also need knowledge so you are selfish enough to take advantage of the superpowers that you're going to give to other people. And you're going to be able to twist reality for your benefit, not for someone else's benefit. If you benefit yourself, you will be able to twist reality better and better. And we'll find out, We'll find out if we need to turn men into women somehow. Or hide them. But everything is obvious, alright? It's just men and women are like the most obvious switch that has the least obvious application, unfortunately. Isn't that crazy? The most obvious switch has no application to me personally whatsoever. Like, what is the application, though? Why do I need this? See? Despite men and women being obviously different, and you can see the difference that you can see makes no difference. That is the funniest switch of all time. It works. It is important when you employing people, you want men to do certain jobs and women to do certain jobs. It's completely normal. You can diversify if that helps. You should think about it. The diversifying strategies is a good idea, often enough, but you don't want to force it. Never force anything, because it's just going to fall apart. It's just like you carefully putting together a house of cards and you force. How do you force it? You're just going to make it all fall apart. The force just becomes anger and uncontrollable fucking behavior that will make everything fall apart that you carefully put together. Forcing is also a way to try and convince yourself that something is true when you don't actually care that much or believe it that much. Like, you can understand how terrible the idea of force is. And technically it's just synonymous with violence. It just forces so much more. It contains so many more ways to be violent, basically. And force can be used on, evil people and stupid people, just like kind of violence can somewhat be used, but, you forcing an evil person out of the violence that you're going to commit in the future. You set back the violence into the future and hope that you will force an evil person out of that behavior where you will have to be violent. So this is so fucking deep and crazy. Unbelievable. Unbelievable to me. Fucking Matrix arrival to the island of forbidden knowledge. Look at that shit. Illuminated, man. You feel that you came to Illuminati finally? Guys, you feel that shit? The power of Jesus Christ, my friend. Yeah. But you actually have to not just believe it, but be convincing to everyone. And the only way you're convincing people is by telling a very good fucking story. Unfortunately, what I just told, I didn't rip off. I had to come up with that straight out of my ass, bro. Straight out of my system. Had to go through that over and over again. Eat the same food over and over again until I figure out a perfect byproduct of that. That at least I can agree tremendously. And project my emotions, basically. At least through voice. Hopefully it works, you know. Let's dig deeper. How do we find a deeper way to look into this? Because we need those 4 switches, and that's all I'm gonna look at, to be honest. I don't want to dig deeper too much. I just need the 4 switches. This should be it, right? Personality type. Extroversion, introversion. Switch. Alright. Pretty basic. We did that one. We accepted that. Again, I accept men and women. I don't accept the fact that it's supposed to, like, make a difference. It's supposed to make a visual difference. And it is still going to make a lot of behavioral differences, too. It's just like it's not a personality. But it is something you're born with. And it supplements your personality. It puts it in a box, basically. It's kind of weird. But your personality is those 3 things. Alright? 3 switches. It's something very hidden, in fact. Despite, you know, introvert and extrovert, you can split those things apart, but you're never truly sure. But with men and women, like, you're kind of like, you can figure that out very quickly. Very quickly, man. No one can lie to you, right? And if they do try to lie to you on that switch, I don't think they're moral human beings. I think this one is supposed to be obvious for obvious reasons, is because that's the only way you can repel people and attract people, by making this switch very obvious. So the 4th switch is not supposed to work, especially when defining a personality, right? Are you going to define a personality based on whether you are a woman or man? That would just make this whole thing fall apart, right? Because people don't actually think that way. People think that personality is almost like something you just kind of fall into. You don't even born that way. Just something that you like to do. Unfortunately, just like 50-50 men and women, there's plenty of diversity of personalities. That's the reason why I was able to find, you know, all the 8 girls. It's not that difficult, in fact. I've done it so many times now, where I create a group of 4. You just type in find 4, and you have all these groups. 4, 4, 4, 4. Every single group contains 4 girls with different elements. Alright, not all 8, but I don't focus on 8. I focus on 4 most of the time. So that's cool. Very fascinating. Then the question is, what is the 4th switch? Is there a unique 4th switch that doesn't involve men and women? Is it something important? Well, extroversion and introversion, we finally can take that out of the way. we have two more switches. Sensing and intuition. Okay. Thinking and feeling. So thinking and feeling is this, but it's not this. So that's a problem. Or is it? This is a funny thing. Technically, these personalities contain this, right? It's just not very relevant. So you can have that and say your feeling group. Technically, it will encompass this, and this whole group. That's 4 out of 8 personalities, which is kind of crazy, right? There's a switch in between switches and stuff, interconnected basically. Yeah, which splits group not just this way and that way, but like this and like that. It's like it's not even symmetric. It's weird. You know, it's just weird. So when you split something into thinking and feeling, you can actually do that. Can you imagine? You can do that. However, that means they have to do the opposite as well. They have to split this group as well. Whatever that's supposed to be. Power, judgment, judging and perceiving. Maybe? Yeah, because perceiving is a color of Bugatti, and judging is just pure power, you know, pure ability to control and manipulate. All right, perception is of first impression, and judgment is just over time, relationship building through power and control, I guess. So that's cool. We figure out these switches. So the mystery is now sensing and intuition. That is the mysterious switch. Isn't it? Sounds like men and women to me. But, and also, this is fucking twisted as fuck, bro. This is twisted as fuck. If they use this switch, like that, and then this one, and then, you know, it's a weird fucking switch to take. See, you can probably even fall into a trap if you work backwards. You can fall into this fucking trap of like, oh, these personalities contain this thing and that thing. It's chemistry, guys. It's so fucking easy. But no, it's logic. It switches. It's just splitting groups. Like, it's in the easiest way possible. Not thinking of like what it contains or what it does. No, fuck that shit. I don't really know the nature of why this is happening, but it's cool. I mean, the nature is, again, it's you feed onto yourself, so you take an element that feeds you, basically. You constantly generate that element. It's like a little factory within yourself. Or you spend the element. Just like earning money is just as important as how do you spend the money. You know, so introverts know how to earn money and extroverts know how to spend money. It's so simple. And it just happens to be a portal, you know. A portal of taking energy and throwing energy away in a powerful way. So, this is so fucking deep and cool. I will definitely have to take a break. But right now, I'm intrigued, right? What is this sensing and intuition thing? What is it gonna do? Where's the split gonna happen? Is it gonna happen between men and women? Or something else entirely? You know? Because that would be weird. Now that you split everything, sort of, in a weird... How do you find a split anymore? Does that even make any sense? Because technically here, alright, here you take this portion, there's an introvert and extrovert, and then you take this portion, and then there's introvert and extrovert. It works. Still works. It's not that bad. So, what do you do here? Focus on reality and how things are. So far, very manly thing to say. Pay attention to concrete facts and details. Super manly thing to say. Prefer ideas that have practical applications. Man. Like to describe things in a specific literal way. So, why? Why do you just not say men and women? Sensing into it. You think there's men who are intuitive. There are men, intuitive men. Sure. I'm intuitive. You know why? 'Cause I, first of all, exist in shadows and I need a lot of resources, like personalities. I can't really switch personalities, but I can pretend that personalities are floating around. And slowly my, abilities are growing and I can pick up on intuition all of a sudden. It's fucking scary, bro. If men knew how scary intuition is, guess what? They wouldn't fucking want it. Alright? They don't want that shit. For obvious reasons. The same way, from women's perspective, they probably don't want to deal with reality. Alright? They want to deal with fluffy things that don't actually matter. But when they deal with reality, then they have to deal with some fucking nasty shit, bro. Alright? They have to scoop the poop and actually know what the poop is. What it is, what it means. That people hate you, that people dislike you, that people put you in this position. You start thinking about reality and your intuitive world just starts fucking crumbling apart. This is why you want to make that split and put people with different responsibilities. Alright? I don't have to split myself because I love people, guys, and they will feed me all kinds of information. And you can call me a man, but I'm in a funny state, in a funny, fuzzy state, where unless you shove a camera in my face, I can change my voice into a woman's voice, and you won't be able to understand anything anymore, unfortunately. I can even just program a girl to make these videos, and I just sit back and fucking drink coffee or whatever I like. Alright? Root beer or whatever. Fantastic, right? That's it. We figured it out. The fourth mysterious switch. Ooh. But it's so much worse because, again, these are twisted switches. They work, but they're fucking weird. From my perspective, they're just weird. And I don't like that. And look how fucking weird it looks like here. See all these greens and purples? It seems like, again, it was twisted. Because it should just be the way I show it, right? So literally aligns with my projection. You have the reds, the greens, the blues, the purples. It just kind of aligns with my projection, unfortunately. But you also have these twists or mix of colors, and I don't know what that means, and I don't want to know. It's fucking painful at this point. I guess P is for pink, isn't it? No? Fuck this shit. I don't want to read into colors because that would be too difficult for me. I like to describe things in a specific way, literal way. Alright? Very basic. Let's see the women's world. You guys want to jump in Imagine the possibilities of how things could be. Yeah. Women's world happens to be fantastical, you know. It happens to be, let's imagine the most positive situation. Sometimes it could be selfish, and let's imagine the most positive situation for me, where people get to suffer and stuff. And I get to have power. Notice the big picture, see how everything connects. You are looking for patterns as an intuitive person, too. Even more so because you want to control things. Yeah, connects. Everything connects. Also, the way you can connect everything very quickly is by time. In fact, I just did that. Congratulations, me. I've connected everything. There's even time sparkle. All I have to do is feed myself this amount of time. Because I deserve it for all this talking about my invention of personalities. I invented that. I invented that through observations. But this model is completely unexplored, the way I see it, and has been twisted, and it's now annoying. And probably just like Monopoly, it's going to be attacked and shoved under the rug. But only Americans can do that. I don't think other people can do that. You guys, you Americans can do whatever you want. You'll just have to pay for it, you know? This is the funny part. You'll just pay for it. You're just going to be enslaved. So, yes, black people included in that case. Whatever you include Americans, whatever you like to be enslaved with, you know, add more people in there. Add more colors of Bugatti in your culture, because you're all going to be enslaved. Yes, it's a very expensive thing that I just said. No, it's not. Prepare yourselves. I'm not going to be enslaving you guys. Alright? I'm not enslaving you guys just because you connected emotionally and intuitively. I'm not doing that shit. Did I ask you to do something? Did I ask you to pay? Yeah, you can pay with your eyeballs whenever you feel like. Guess what? You're gonna get knowledge in return. What are you gonna give me that will not give you things in return? You will try and talk to me, I will give you things in return by replying to you, you know, by reading your fucking comment. What can you possibly do to me that you will not get things in return? Potentially even better things. Which is crazy, right? Just the fact that you can get something in return, it means there's a deep connection, an easy one, and a very cheap one. But when you get better things in return, when you just put an eyeball and you're like, whoa, what is this pattern? Yeah, I'm sorry. I just gave you something. But you might want to prepare yourself to be enslaved, because I don't think other people will like you roaming around freely with all this knowledge in your brain, you know? So it is a little bit heavy knowledge that I'm putting people, but you'll be a lot more productive while being enslaved. You will still make more money, you know, and get a better split. Fucking Americans, man. Alright, enjoy ideas and concepts for their own sake. I don't know what that means. I like projection, though. I like the idea of projection. So, the most projective thing is called sentimental items, right? It's you project something onto an item and you just give it to someone else, and they could just bring it up and you can tell a story about it or something, because you're like missing that item and you're thinking about it, and you connect to a person, or you can keep other person's gift and create a story around that. It's cool stuff, right? Projection. I don't know what this means though. Enjoy ideas. Technically, that's the world of ideas, right? The world of sentimental stuff. If that's what we're talking about, ideas. I mean, ideas are also useful for storytelling, kind of in a similar way. Alright. I don't know what that means, though. Like to describe things in a figurative, poetic way. Well, also known as attractive way, am I right? So, the women's way. The women's way or the highway. I guess in the comments section, in the most recent comment is a woman's way to manipulate you emotionally or whatever. Unfortunately, it's not gonna last very long when you realize you're going down, and only men are effectively gonna be winning this battle. But while men win, women get to perform almost. That's the funny thing. You notice that, right? I'm winning, but women get to be on my thumbnails and stuff, you know? That's how it works. But, like, they have to be, like, genuinely appreciated. If you just throw women as trope thumbnail click catchers, that doesn't work. Doesn't work at all. They have to be real. They have to be big. They have to be important. And, that's what I'm doing. I'm just successfully playing my role, except the role of, like, having a terrible fucking bag because I have to lean into the microphone like an idiot. Again, you will have to pay. You'll have to pay for my suffering, too, of trying to deliver this knowledge to people, alright? I don't know why it's obscured, why it's so difficult to recreate it, why the 16 personality thing ain't working very well, isn't it? It's fucking stupid. But let's look into that. Let's look back into the thing where we started, because now we have the switches. Let's see if it aligns with men and women. That's the only question I have. Men and women align? Is that how it works? So we have sensing and intuition. S and I. I don't see S or I at all. Except here. Is this exclusive S? Sentinels? Fucking this is exclusive S, which is water and fire. What the fuck? Oh, interesting, isn't it? We're getting the thing. We're getting the switch where it's located. Which is kind of fucking stupid because this is the S's, this is not. And then we have the N, right? Oh, it's the opposite. The opposite. The sensing are the males, but it's still weird. This is where they put the switch. I would just split it into more categories, but they didn't. They just twist. I am the most women person out there, because I have this. I have this, and that. So I must be a woman, right? What the fuck? This is Cancer, bro. This is fucking stupid. This is some imaginary world of 16 personalities. What am I gonna do for the rest of 25 minutes, guys? Holy fucking shit. This is garbage. Whatever you have been shown, this... Good luck. I mean, show me what it can do, because my thing can do a lot more things, but... This shit... Well, I debunked it. It's useless. I can give this guy a honorary, reply of like, I did your request. Are you happy now? Your thing that you like so much sucked ass. Congratulations. Because this switch makes no fucking sense. Like, I don't even know where to start describing what this even is. There is, however, another thing entirely that I have not discussed yet, which reminded me because Maybe I exaggerated, guys. Maybe I will go back because of that thing and that other thing. But first I want to save the screenshot because it's a still pretty cool image, right? For the first time in forever, into the sweet spot, we have a whole board. Alright, go figure. So regardless of what you're gonna see here, I still gonna believe that it's a stupid way to make switches. Like, it makes no fucking sense, whatever they're doing. But, I'll show you this. What is this, right? Well, it's a graph of a lifetime. Goes up and down, and it crosses this line right here. Let me just fix this, because it's not supposed to really cross, it's just supposed to, like, bounce around almost. This. I found this. Again, intuitively. Ooh, how fun is that? You sit here in shadows and you play with things, and things start working and sparkling. So, what is that? Right? Water, earth, fire, and wind. Again, exactly. And as you can tell, the going up are fire and water. Going down are wind and earth. Which is like the opposite. Which is, I fucking hate it. This is supposed to be female energy, and this is supposed to be the male energy. Like, how is it not? How is it not? So, I guess attractive because it goes down. It's a hole, you know, women have holes. I guess that's very attractive. And, women get to be manipulative and project ideas onto the world. That makes sense. While males care about, well, colors of Bugatti building businesses, and males get to control this too? For me, that's a weird thing, man. That's a weird one. What is this? Well, the beginning stage of everything. And this is actually the feelings as well. But how does that make any sense? Feelings? Do we get... What? And we're the ones... How? Technically, funny thing is, women get to cluster together and share ideas more often than men. Because what men do, they just play games. They feel that they can just play games. You know, it's still gonna project feelings onto them. Well, women probably not gonna care that much or feel that much. They just want to have the community aspect because they're not really sensible people. You know, they're not actually that sensitive as you would think they are. Because if they would be sensitive, they would be... Are we learning things here? Because that's fucking weird. Women are not sensitive? My life is a lie. Holy shit, man. But it, like, works. You know, like, what I'm saying is it just has to work. Because, again, if they're sensitive, they're also sensitive to the way reality works, and they don't want that. That is weird, man. We have to be sensitive because we can defend ourselves from negative feelings and negative behaviors of other people. And we are repulsive, so, you know, we want to feel things in the first place, so we can attract feelings while being repulsive. That is weird. That is another switch you can use for your personalities. Except it doesn't fucking make sense because, again, it's just female and male energy in there. And why do you need that? Well, it just, I guess it naturally occurs here and it works. And I guess if you twist a Rubik's Cube enough times, you will get the right faces in the right places. You know. So they just twisted and they found 16 personalities and they don't know why, clearly. It's kind of disappointing, but okay. But it's still weird, right? Where these are male and female energies. Kind of interesting. Technically. Female and male elements. Did I not need to split that? Do men... But then it's like 8 personalities is good enough, but like, no. What does that mean, right? What does that mean if someone is born... If a woman is born like this, right? What does that mean? Right? It probably means fucking nothing. It's just an indicator of behavior. It's so difficult. Now I have to think about it for a long time. And until I have a conclusion, I can't talk about it. Because I was just going to be confused. Alright. Anyways, we have to move on. I don't want to be confused. Let's just eat candy and fucking finish this video. Amazing exploration. Virtuoso? Masters of all kinds of tools. Not skills, necessary. Tools. I actually build my own tools. This is fascinating. But again, the colors seem to align perfectly. And they actually use purple, funny enough. And no red. Really good stuff. Alright. They actually went very, very far. And obviously, that's where it kind of just stops. Why? Because they don't know how to fix their mistakes, you know? They feel like they have done everything. I'm still like confused, like, what the fuck? This is weird. Men and women, am I right? Right, it does work. Men and women. Alright. What about that? Earth and... What is that? Fantasy? Interesting. Alright, let's not dig too deep into this. I already see men are born under pressure and their time is insanely valuable because they spend it in wilderness. Until they are accepted back to society and give the pressure of time to girls. There's another thing, alright? Another thing which I already shown, which is just 2 circles. And technically these are popular kids, interconnected with each other, spread out. And so the right wing and left wing, they don't exist. The moment celebrities become political, they lose popularity. You know, the way to pop a celebrity is make them talk about poplitics, basically. Which is very dangerous weapon as well to discover. You see, I'm just like digging out dirt and it's like, oh, nuclear weapon. Alright. Let's keep going, man. Yeah, I mean, celebrities have their own worlds with their own truths. And as long as you're popular, you are, um, you're doing the right thing, clearly. That's about it. And the moment you're gonna do a wrong thing, well, people will tempt you to talk about politics and debate other people. But the reality is, you just respond and you move on and you learn from that. If you start debating when you don't actually enjoy the process, I mean, you're gonna get popped. I feel like I'm actually in the center. I'm like a popular little baby, yet to become popular, the moment I will stop growing and stop changing all the time, I will become popular, just naturally snap into that thing. Because the idea is, this is where men, they're just complete outsiders. They live in shadows. And women could be here. And the popular kids are like transcendental creatures, basically. And the longer you stay there, you might even transcend into eternal popularity. How about that shit? I don't know. I don't know the dynamic, but there's the men world of the men have to go outside, detach from society, and go to work, basically expanding fucking consciousness in general. It's necessary, clearly. And or just gather resources, whatever. Women just have to take care of the environment. And the popular people, they have to interconnect everything and understand every little section of society and how it works. And technically, I have enough perception to, in fact, be the Illuminati master myself. The master, boys. Let's go. I love that part. The reason why, I also have a lot of knowledge, but if you stay in the shadows for too long, and you are neglected by society, and you're not actually able to do the work that you want to do, well, you will find yourself digging even deeper, or even splitting yourself into two pieces. Oh, I will stay in the shadows while the other piece is gonna live here at the same time. It's like a dual personality. So while everyone else wants to think that I'm in shadows, I'm not so sure, you know. I personally, not so sure. I'll be very much prepared to be a popular person. Because this part may be not functional, you know. Society. Either section of society that I'm bumping into, not functional, or the entire society of women, you know, women apocalypse. You know, all of a sudden women realizing what an attractive man actually is. But it's not about attraction. It's about being accepting of people. And right now, the problem is with the world is that people get too attached to certain type of people they see online. And they're just looking for a similar projection elsewhere. They program themselves. If you're not exploring enough, or if you idolize certain type of person, like, you will have a very terrible time making relationships. And right now, that's the problem with the internet that is growing, is projection of just a handful amount of people into the rest of the world, and they fall in love and they forget that you have to find time for other relationships than just idolizing a random person that you have seen online too many times. For fuck's sake. How many PewDiePies have to retire until people stop idolizing others? You know, well, that's a backwards solution. The forward solution is reward exploration. You know, reward subscribing to new channels like my own channel. It is rewarding when I give so much fucking knowledge. It's not rewarding when I'm so fucking toxic, am I right? No, it is extra rewarding when I'm toxic. You just don't know why. I'm not gonna explain why. Go figure yourself out why I'm toxic, and that's actually rewarding. Oh wait, it's about liberation. You can be toxic, and somehow that's a virtuous thing to do. Crazy, I know. Wow. It's just like, you can nicely and gently stick a knife into someone, and make them bleed, and you're like, oh, oops, oh, I will make an apology with you now, because I made you bleed, and you will die soon, so I will apologize to my fans. Oh, he's dying now. And you can be toxic like myself and do really good, nice things to people, in like very scary way. Give them gifts, memorable things, Fucking show up out of a corner and was like, here's a wedding ring, Ariana. You like that one? Are we married now? Yeah? Alright. Scary ways. Sometimes you have to twist the twist because there's no other way. Alright? And other people just have to figure the fuck out that it is twisted right now and there was no other way. Can you please figure it out faster? Please? It's a problem. It's a growing problem right now. Anyways, do we have time for candy? I think I talked about everything. This is still confusing to me and I'm not gonna comment on this shit. Alright? Again, this is repelling. This is like a mountain, right? So it's a man, and a valley is women. Pretty cool. I don't know. Pretty cool. So you can have these switches and technically it makes up the personalities, but it's weird, and I don't know if it even works. That's it. That's all I can say. And I don't even care, because there's an easier way, If there's an easier way to make Hearthstone and remake Hearthstone, I will do it. Instead, I made this, which is an easier way to play Block Doku, alright? That's cool. I just haven't actually finished the Hearthstone thing, and I replaced it with this. Maybe I don't even need a Hearthstone right now. Who knows? Maybe it's good enough. Of course it's not good enough. But I'm proud of myself, man. Alright, let's just eat 3 pieces of can. Oh my god, what the fuck was that? Fucking dogs, man. I fucking hate dogs. They better start eating each other. That would be fucking useful. Left versus right literally is a battle of minions where left gets to attack first, but has less resources to fight with. I guess it's interesting. See, like, popular kids can be political. They're not going to be popular that way because they have to be women and men, straight relationship. They have to project that. If they're not going to be straight, if they're going to cut their hair even, their popularity is going to sink so fucking dramatically, so quickly. They can sort of do it as a trope move, but they're going to become invisible. If they're going to look boyish, they're going to look invisible because it's a completely new person. They wear a woman, now they cut their hair short. Now you're a man, and I don't know who you are anymore. It's a new person, man with boobs. Doesn't even look good. That's why it's so fucking dangerous to deal with politics. Because politics is going to tell you, you can do a lot of things. And that's what kind of they're trying to do. It's kind of fucking stupid. But at least I understand where it's where it's going, I guess. You know, harvesting popular kids desperately. You know, idol worshiping basically turned into politics every now and then. That's what it's going on. And anytime, there's that face reveal, you're a groomer, and groomer means absolutely nothing. It's just people are trying to rip your popularity apart as best as they can. But no one is really succeeding, and they don't know why. There's plenty of clues of why you're not succeeding. You can't succeed with just mindless effort alone and mindless numbers alone. Of I unsubscribe, I dislike the video. Like, it means nothing if you do that. Even if you do it in hordes of people, you know. The projection of that elections, that if you participate in elections, that something happens, that you're just being stupefied. Of course nothing happens. Of course nothing. You just get to choose between like two people at most. At presidential elections. Two people. Oh wow, what a big fucking difference. Come on, man. You're not making a fucking difference. If you get an option of like what you like drinking more, coffee or energy drink, and it's like, what the fuck? Why are you asking me that, right? But that's what politics is about. It's about giving you stupid fucking things to think about and believe in. So the same way you pressing that dislike button, you think you're voting on something, you think you're doing something, you like having a negative or positive feeling or opinion, and you're expressing that or twisting that, you think you're doing something, but if it means nothing to you, you will run short of the marathon that you have to go through in order to convince enough people for that to be the case. Because you also have to understand, eventually you're going to be the only one knowing the truth because you were so interested in that. Like, there was a person who invested into investigating Elliot Rodger, which is a dead person, by the way, so maybe don't do that. But at some point, it's just that one person who knows the most information about a shooter, basically. A suicidal shooter. You know, it's weird. No one needs that, but you know where it's going, right? If you accumulate knowledge, you're going to be the person to go to for that knowledge. Why do I say that? I have no idea. Alright, maybe that's just how you become popular. You just need that NFT of unique title, so to speak. Instead of doing what you want, you have to satisfy your needs first. I have done this so many times. Talked about this. I don't know why it's here, by the way. This is old candies, man. Because I'm eating them very slowly. My teeth are falling apart after all. No wonder. Men are born under pressure. Wait, should the opposite be the case? Well, maybe now I'm scared. I ate so much candy. Like how much I generate. I probably pooped that out. Men are born under pressure and their time is insanely valuable. Oh, I read this before. It's weird. It's so fucking annoying, bro. Annoying. It's like, well, girls don't actually exist on the internet. They just project their little images and stuff. What do I do? What button do I press to summon a girl? I don't know, man. It's confusion, man. I'll just give a sentimental thing because it pisses me off. Well, I guess it's fine. Guess it's a good heart. But it does piss me off, though. Because, like, what do I do? When will I start attracting people myself, you know? When is that gonna happen? Is just girls exclusively gonna attract people? Because that is painful, man. A lot of satisfying things, but why just pick a few to focus on? I do judge people for just focusing on a few things, especially if they're popular. I guess it's okay, but things are constantly evolving, alright? Constantly get lit. A certain subject is getting lit, so to speak. So there's more room for improvement, right? Now celebrities have to learn how to do TikToks and whatnot. Holy shit, that's difficult. But it's like just hire people to do that for you. You don't have to do it. Especially when it takes a phone. You know, where do you place the phone? It's too much fucking work for thoughts. Just find the right people that you can give money to. Start making TikToks. Your face sells very well because people want to make movies of you. That's it. You know, this one would be also sentimental. But again, as a YouTube CEO, I don't want people to focus on one thing. They have to evolve. And they have to evolve properly by, again, learning how to employ people. If their face is very valuable all of a sudden, that's it. You know, if you can keep popular people together, maybe you're a fucking transcendental person already. You know, I don't know who I am at this point. It fucking hurts to be. To be or not to be. To pee or not to pee. Those are the questions. Yeah, I don't want to dilute the idea of personalities being like the most ridiculous thing you can learn. It's ridiculous. You learn these colors, you learn what they do, you learn the elements, and like the most basic split uh, between them. Again, what was the free, the freedom, and the love? Wow, was it so difficult? Freedom and love, super powerful split, super obvious. And then materialism versus uh, mm, did we not discuss that even? Wait 1 second. Oh yeah, emotions and materialism. You know, when you're materialistic, you want to make people work for you because you want the material things. But when you are emotional, you want to buy things that people have created and generate emotional value out of that. It's kind of very interesting stuff. Anyways, that's where I'm gonna leave you guys. There's a lot to explore. Maybe you'll find a few things yourselves. You can contribute, but other than that, I am gonna go now. See you guys next time.